Hey ladies and gentlemen, Steven here from Redolessence and welcome back to another video. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate your time and your viewership. It means a lot. And in today's episode, we're going to be taking a closer look at a fragrance by the company Precious Liquid, and this one is called Blue Agave. So make sure to stay tuned. Before I begin my fragrance review of Blue Agave by Precious Liquid, I do want to mention that if you are interested in fragrance-related content, if you like perfume reviews and top 10 lists here on YouTube, please do consider supporting this channel by subscribing to it. All you have to do is click on that red button in the corner. And of course, while you're at it, please make sure to enable notifications by clicking on the bell icon. So this is a fragrance that was released by perfumer Richard Herpen. And this is a company that was started a few years ago. I actually did an initial first impression with my friend Carlos. I'm going to leave a card to that up here. And we kind of went over the line and I spoke about many of my favorites. And this is one that is incredibly easy to wear. And this one is Blue Agave. Now with Blue Agave, you have the namesake of the perfume, which is agave, but you also have incense, you have sea moss, driftwood, lime, juniper berry, cardamom. So there are some spicy tendencies, there are some aquatic tendencies. There's like this overtone of salt, which makes it very refreshing, but quirky and really interesting at the same time. I also want to mention that if you are interested in picking this fragrance up or anything from this company, I will be leaving a coupon code down below, so make sure to utilize it to get the best price possible. I'm really excited to give you my thoughts on this fragrance, but let's start things off with the presentation. So as soon as this fragrance opens up, you are going to get this explosion of freshness. And I say that because there are so many elements in here that are working hand in hand to give it that bright, fresh, invigorating and citrusy appeal in the opening. So I do think it's a combination of the citrus that you're going to find in the opening, namely the lime, and you're also going to find the driftwood and the sea moss lingering in the base, which gives this fragrance a true oceanic appeal. Now, whenever you think of aquatic fragrances, a lot of times the note of violet is being utilized just to sort of give it that clean masculine aura. There are other ingredients that may be utilized in the fragrance to sort of give it that bright, clean nature. But very rarely, and I think this is because salty fragrances can sometimes turn people off, you do see it with Bulgari Aqua. Very rarely do companies use a salty nuance to really convey an oceanic feel, and I think that that's the only way to go. I think that it comes across smelling very natural, very organic, very true to form, and that's precisely what you're going to get in this fragrance. Now, I don't know if this is necessarily marketed as an aquatic fragrance, but I definitely get that aquatic element with that sort of ambergris-like base. There's no ambergris in the note breakdown, but that driftwood in combination with the sea moss is really giving off that effect. Now, I think the other pair of ingredients that is working hand in hand is the incense with a little bit of that spicy tendency. And so it's the incense, specifically the juniper berry. Now, I know juniper berry is not incense, but I think the woodsy appeal from the juniper berry is sort of amplifying that ever so slightly smoky and resinous quality from the incense that is almost adding this mystery and complexity in the base. Now, I know I mentioned cardamom as well. Cardamom is adding smoothness in the opening. And of course, even on a designer level, I have seen some cardamom-based offerings, namely La Nuit de l'Homme by Yves Saint Laurent. And then, of course, we have a few others as well, but I think that that's probably the most popular one. And you do get the freshness in the opening with this very muted cardamom note that I think is adding the smoothness to be expected in the dry down as well. And so it's a very complex fragrance, but it's simple. It's complex yet simple. And I know that that's very, very much an oxymoron, but it is paradoxical in that sense where you kind of expect this fragrance to evolve a whole lot, but it keeps the same personality through and through, but that personality is being represented by different notes. And I think that that's probably one of the things that I really enjoy about this one. Now, there's also a rose offering, there's also a neroli offering. They're all fantastic, and I actually look forward to reviewing all of them on my channel in due time. I even thought about talking about all 5 of them in the same video, but then I thought to myself, you know what, I would much rather just give each one its own dedicated video, because there's a lot to be said about each one. And I feel like the craftsmanship and the mastery that went in here is really worthy of that analysis, if you will. So the perfumer Richard Herpen, he's also responsible for fragrances like Oud Wood by Tom Ford. He has done tons of designers as well. If I remember, I'm going to link his Fragrantica profile down below so you can check out his resume, but really impressed by everything he's put out, and this one is no exception. Great, fresh, invigorating, energetic fragrance if you're looking for something to wear on a casual basis, something to wear in the office. Of course, if you're looking for something a little bit more formal, I think the rose-based offering might be a little bit more to your liking, but I personally enjoy this one, and I look forward to wearing this one a lot more. Let's go ahead and finish things off with my overall assessment. So first up, in terms of the uniqueness and the overall smell, this fragrance is a unique fragrance despite the fact that it does utilize some ingredients that I've encountered many times before, but it's really interesting to see how the combination of the spices in the opening can contribute to that aquatic feeling in the base. And so I do find it to be complex, albeit all of the ingredients kind of contribute to that same personality. Overall smell is very appealing. It's not likely to turn anybody off. It's very easy to get along with, very easy to pull off, and also one that I would imagine you would get a lot of compliments with as well. In terms of the longevity, you can expect about 7 hours from this one. Projection was really good for the first 2 hours of application. It didn't start to sit closer to the skin until about that 5-hour mark, but right around that 7-hour mark is when the fragrance completely dissipated. In terms of the versatility, I think this one would work really well for the hotter months of the year. However, if you are wearing this one indoors, as long as you're wearing it in a climate-controlled environment, you can pretty much wear this one whenever you want. I think it's perfectly unisex, and I think this one gives off more of a casual vibe just because of that driftwood and that salty sort of sea moss thing going on in the base. In terms of the presentation, I like the simplicity of it, and I think that allows it to also be available for a really affordable price. So my final verdict on this fragrance is, if you are a fan of the aquatic genre, and if you are a fan of fragrances that lean in that salty direction with a hint of spice and incense, definitely check this one out. It's a really interesting composition, and I really feel as though you are getting your money's worth, especially if you utilize the coupon code that is found down below. So thank you so much for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. That was my fragrance review of Blue Agave by Precious Liquid. If you own or have tried this fragrance, please let me know what you think. Leave a comment down below. Also, please don't forget to subscribe for future videos. And of course, remember to enable notifications by clicking on the notification bell. This way, whenever I do put out future content, it will get delivered straight to your feed. Thanks again for joining me today. Love you all, and we'll see you soon. Bye.